Last class, I have started with the house drainage system. There we had seen some components of the house drainage, and then actually we have discussed about the traps, and then different types of traps, the functions. And then today's class we will see the other components like anti-siphonage pipe, inspection chamber. Then we will move on to the plumbing systems. Okay, inspection chambers, it is a masonry chamber similar to the manhole. Uh, Actually, they have provisions for one man can enter into this, and then we can clean the blockages, and then this chamber is provided with CI cover. It is a cast iron cover, and then the size of the chamber depends on the depth and the number of branch connections. Okay, it depends on, it is not uniform everywhere. It depends on the depth and the number of branch connections. The size may be about 60 to 75 centimeter and 90 centimeter deep. They should be constructed out of all junctions, bends, and at about 10-meter interval on straight lines of the drains. Then next one is the anti-siphonage pipe that we have already discussed in the last class, mainly to prevent the siphonic action. Otherwise, it is very difficult to maintain the seal, okay, water seal in the traps. These pipes are provided to prevent siphonic action and consequent sucking of water seals. Then particularly, for example, especially this is very, this system is suitable for multi-storied buildings, okay, because all the lavatory blocks in each blocks are just maybe in a same line, okay, the lavatory blocks are in the same line in a different floors, okay, therefore it is in order to maintain the water seal, okay, this pipe should be provided along with the soil pipe, okay. For example, because the flushing in upper floors, okay, create a partial vacuum in the pipe at lower region, then automatically it is inducing the siphonic action and affects the water seals in the traps in the lower floors. Therefore, in order to take care of the water seal in the lower floors, this like a vent pipe, sorry, that soil pipe should be connected with the vent pipe, or we can call it as an anti-siphonage pipe. To the traps, so that when the partial vacuum occurs in the because of the like a flushing action in the upper floors, it creates a partial vacuum that may be avoided by just sucking the air from the outside, okay, through the vent pipe. That is the main function of anti-siphonage pipe. Then wash basins, okay, you just read the material, what are the different types of wash basins. Flat back wash basins, you just monitor what type of wash basins are available in your house, and then angle back wash basins, and then these are the different sizes of the wash basins. Then bathtub, and then kitchen sink, okay, different types of kitchen sinks. Then provision sizes, these are the normal sizes, okay. Then coming to the plumbing system, the plumbing systems are classified. It is mainly based on the number of pipe provisions. So for example, some houses you can see only the one pipe. If you are seeing from the back side, okay, you can see only one vertical pipe. Some multi-storied buildings you can see that two vertical pipes. Some multi-storied buildings you can see like 4 vertical pipes. Therefore, we should know that what are the purpose of each pipes, okay. Therefore, based on the the provision of soil pipe and vent pipe, it may be classified as single stack system, one pipe system, two pipe system, partially ventilated single stack system. Now you can see what a single stack system. Single stack system is, okay, irrespective of the sullage or the night soil, okay. That means sullage means especially the wastewater from the bathrooms, okay. Kitchens are generally considered as a sullage. Then wastewater from the water closets, okay, that is our night soil, we can say. It is like, to carry that one we used to provide separate pipes, that is called a soil pipe, okay, sullage pipe and then soil pipe. But irrespective of the source, okay, all things are carried in a single pipe to the like a treatment system, that is called as single pipe system. Okay, single pipe without separate ventilation pipe. You don't have any provisions for like vent pipe. uses only one pipe. It is not provided with any separate vent pipe, except that it itself extended up to 2 meter higher than the roof level and provided with a cowl. Okay, that is actually in the backside. Okay, you can see only the one vertical pipe that carries the wastewater from the sink, and then from the water closet, and then from the kitchen, from all the places. Okay, it is collected and then connected to the single pipe that was called single stack system. It is not having any separate vent pipe. Instead of that, for example, this is the roof level. This pipe should be extended just 2 meter above the roof level, provided with the cowl. That is the opening. Okay, provisions for entering of that air into the pipe. Okay, this is called single stack system. Now you can see this in the single stack system. Okay, you can see only the one vertical pipe. The top portion of the vertical pipe is extended above the roof level, and then the wastewater from wash basin, water closets, water tub, everything is kitchen sink, everything is connected to the single pipe. Okay, this is called a single stack system. Okay, next one is the advantages of the single stack system is like simplicity of layout, design and plumbing, more economical. Okay, because no need to provide one more vertical pipe, otherwise it will increases the cost, but have some drawbacks, like mainly that it affects the water sales, especially that water may be evaporated during the dry weather. Then possibility of self or induced siphonic action leads to sucking of water cells in the lower floors. Due to blockage or bad design, the wastewater from drainage pipes may be forced up through the traps by back pressure. Okay, these are the main problems with single stack system. Okay, the next one is it is a somewhat advanced version of single stack system, that is called as one pipe system. This is similar to that of single stack, but in addition to that, there is a separate vent pipe connected to the fittings, and the water cells are protected mainly to take care of the water cells. Then in addition to the one vertical pipe that carries both sullage and the night soil, in addition to that, you have one more provision for like one more pipe that is called as vent pipe, mainly to take care of the water cells. This is costlier than single stack system. Now you can see this drawing. Okay, here this is one pipe that is called soil pipe that carries all night soil as well as the sullage, and then from wash basins as well as from the kitchen sink, everything is connected to the soil pipe. In addition to that, this soil pipe, okay, is attached with the pipe that is called as vent pipe, one more pipe that is called as vent pipe. The main purpose is, okay, it allows the air and then helps in breaking the siphonic action. Okay, mainly to protect the water seal. Okay, this is called one pipe system. One pipe means you have a soil pipe plus one more pipe called as the vent pipe to protect the water seal. And then two pipe system. In the two pipe system, you have a this is just advanced version of like all systems, like we had seen single stack and then one pipe system. Here it is called two pipe. The two pipe is one pipe for night soil and then one pipe for the carrying the sullages to the street drains. Okay, then each pipe should be connected with the vent pipe. That means totally you can see the 4 vertical pipes. Okay, from the multi-storied building. Okay, you can see that each pipe, like the sullage pipe, should be connected with the vent pipe. Similarly, night soil or soil pipe should be connected with the vent pipe. In this system, the soil pipe is connected to the all water closets and urinals, and the other waste pipe, that is, or we can call it as a sullage pipe, is connected to the bath, kitchen and wash basins, etc. Both soil pipe and vent pipes are separately ventilated by the vent pipes. Okay, sorry, both soil and waste pipes. Okay, this is not vent, this is waste pipe, or separately ventilated by vent pipes. This system provides very effective and trouble-free drainage, but this is costly system. Okay, you can see that best and most improved type of system two types of vertical pipes. Okay, one is the sullage, and then another one is soil pipe, and then these are connected to the like soil fixtures like urinals, latrines, etc. are connected to the soil pipe, sludge fixtures, and then like bath, sink, wash basins, etc. are connected to the waste pipe, and then these are separately ventilated. It requires 4 vertical pipes. That means soil pipe, sullage pipe, 2 vent pipe. Then it is a costly system. You can see this picture. Okay, then the first one is this is with the soil pipe. The soil pipe is connected to the water closets as well as the urinals, and then this is also connected with like a vent pipe. Okay, then similarly another one is the waste pipe or sullage pipe. This is connected to the vent pipe. Okay, totally you can see the 4 vertical pipes to carry the complete wastewater from the houses to the street drains. And then partially ventilated single stack system. Okay, it is this improved form of single stack system. It is this is having like 2 pipes similar to that of 1 pipe system, but the vent pipes are connected only to the water closets, not to the all like wash basins, bathroom. Okay, then it is connected only to the water closets. That's why it is called as partially ventilated. In 1 pipe system, all things are ventilated by connecting the soil pipe with the vent pipe. Here only it is partially ventilated. Okay, these are the different forms of plumbing system in the buildings. Okay, based on the requirement as well as the cost availability. Okay, one can choose any one of the system for the house drainage in the residential buildings. Okay. Is it clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, then next one is the inspection of building drainage system, mainly to take care of that building drainage. Then we should follow certain observations. Okay, it is by going some inspection, or if there is, if if you're seeing any leakages, that you have to take care. Therefore, inspection, like the flow through the drain should be observed by the opening the inspection chambers, the lead traps. Okay, then if there are any damp spots, okay, they should be detected as an indicated leakages. The water closets, flushing systems, traps should be examined. Emission of bad smell, if any, from the sanitary block should be detected. It is the responsibility of the individual persons. Okay, for example, if you are the homeowner, you should do all those things. Okay, then if you are detecting any leakages, for rectifying, you can call the people. Otherwise, you should know that how to do this operations. And then water closets, flushing systems, traps should be examined. Emission of bad smell, if any, from the sanitary block should be detected, and then the detailed survey of the entire system is made and then completely checked. Okay, then testing of drainage system, generally we used to follow certain procedure to check the leakages of the drainage system. One is called air test. Okay, then in the air test, what they will do is they will blow the air into the drain by plugging the ends. Then they will apply the soap solution outside. Okay, maybe in the cycle shop for if there is a puncture in the tubes, then they used to do, they used to apply, they used to fill the tubes with air, and then they used to apply the soap solution outside. Then you can see the formation of bubbles. The same way here also we can just fill the drains with the air and then apply the soap solution. Then the formation of bubble indicates the leakages. Okay, that is called as air test. Another one is the hydraulic test. In the hydraulic test, okay, the water is filled with some pressure. Okay, then they will monitor the pressure level. If there is any drop in the water level, then within 10 minutes, then we can say that there is a leak in the drain system. Okay, that is called as hydraulic test. Okay, air test, they will apply the air, then with the help of soap solution, they will find out the leakages. But in hydraulic test, okay, they will fill the water with the pressure. Then they will monitor the pressure level, okay, or water level. Okay, if there is any drop, okay, in the water level, then it indicates that there is a leakages in the drain pipe. And then next one is the smell test. In the smell test, what they will do is like they will mix the air with some smelling gas, and then they will pass through the drainage pipe. Then leaky joints can be easily detected by smelling, by just outside by smelling the drain pipes. Then we can easily identify the leakage locations. And color water test. Okay, instead of normal water, they will prepare the color water, maybe any dyes, and then because like any leakages can be easily detected. Okay, from the outside with the if there is any color components, we can easily see in that. We can easily identify the leakage locations. Then next one is the smoke test. This is similar to the air test. Instead of air, here the test tubes or the drains are filled with the smoke, and then we have to force the smoke through the pipe, and then leakages can be detected by smell or vision of the smoke through the joint. These are the some regular test procedures are carried out in the individual houses by the maybe sanitary officers to identify the leakages in the drain system. And then maintenance of building drainage system. Okay, then we have to take care of, like we have to avoid the entry of undesired elements. Okay, you should not allow, this is only to carry the wastewater. Okay, that means wastewater means 99.9% water and 0.1% solids. You should not allow like the grit particles or decayed fruits or pieces of cloth or dead animals through the drainage system, that we have to avoid. Okay, then flushing. In order to maintain the house drainage system in proper working order, it is advisable to flush it once or twice a day. Okay, you should not, like, no, if you're not opening the like taps also, okay, sometimes it may induce some like a bad odor. Okay, therefore you have to do the flushing operation properly. Then inspection. The various units of house drainage system should be inspected at regular intervals, and damaged pipes or washer of leaky taps should be replaced, especially no, in the wash basins and all. You can see the formation of like some obnoxious odor. This is mainly with the hydrogen sulfide gas. Okay, it is based on the arrangement of your wash pipe at the bottom of your the sink. Okay, you have to see the, you have to just check that the how, whether the bend, for example, this is the wash basin, you have the outlet at the bottom, and then sometimes no there is a provision to open here, and then we can clean this. Okay, now with the modified version of that no fixtures, and then it is very difficult to remove at the bottom of your wash basin to check whether any leakages or any accumulation of the dead particles are there. Therefore, it is very difficult to clean it. Therefore, no, you have to, while purchasing that sanitary fixtures and all, you have to give some importance to that. Okay, otherwise it is very later point of time, it is very difficult to remove and then check if there is any blockages or food particles may settle at this point. It may, no, now they are giving the provisions like this. Then this will connect it to the drain. Okay, at the floor level. Now this portion will act as a storage. If there is no provision to remove this, then over a period of time you can see the the liberation of the foul smell gases. Okay, because of the decomposition, it leads to hydrogen sulfide, then carbon dioxide gas. Therefore, it is very difficult to clean this. Therefore, you just spend, while purchasing some items related to this, you have to spend some time. Then you have to do some analysis. Okay, whether it is good or not. Okay. These are the some of the things we have to take care while maybe while doing the construction of your house. Then you have to take care of all those things. Then coming to the design of sewer pipes. Okay, now I think I have completed with the different components of the drainage, house drainage system. Now you are familiar with what is sullage, what is the night soil, and then what is soil pipe, what is sullage pipe, then what is one pipe system or two pipe system, what is vent pipe, the provisions, what is the purpose of vent pipe, everything we have studied. Okay, now okay, assume that individual houses may contribute some amount of the wastewater. Okay, Then we have to find out what will be the actual quantity of the wastewater. Okay, because in order to design the sewer, here we are not calling it as a pipe, we are calling it as a sewer. Sewer is it carries the wastewater. There is the wastewater. The material that carries the water is called as conduits. Like the pipe material that carries the wastewater is called as the sewer, and then other one is the conduits. Now for calculating the quantity of the flow, it mainly based on the per capita demand. Okay, that is the per capita demand is 135 liters per day per person. Okay, we are assuming that almost 85% of the per capita demand, okay, that is turned as the wastewater. That means 135 into 0.85, okay, is turned as the wastewater. And then most of the treatment systems like wastewater treatment systems are designed for average flow. Some treatment units are designed for the maximum flow. The maximum flow is calculated based on the peak factor. The peak factor is depends on the population size, and then generally we are calculating the maximum flow as like 3 times of the average flow. Therefore, the average flow is based on the per capita demand. Per capita per capita water supply is 135 liters per capita per day. That should be multiplied with 0.85 to get the average wastewater generated in an individual house, and then that should be multiplied with 3 to get the maximum flow. Okay, some of the units, anyway, we will see later. Some of the units may be designed for average, some of the units may be designed for maximum flow. And then pipe sizes and gradient. Okay, that generally the usual pipe sizes of house drains and sewers are 100 mm, 150 mm, 230 mm. Okay, then we have to provide the recommend some gradient. Okay, for carrying the maximum flow when running half full and with the maximum self-cleansing velocity of 0.75 meter per second. Okay, generally they used to provide the arrangements in a somewhat in a sloped manner, mainly to take care of the self-cleansing velocity that should be around 0.75 meter per second is generated automatically inside the sewer system. And for example, you can see here, I think here I have given as a gradient. Yeah, therefore this gradient is important. Okay, for example, dia of the pipe 100, they have provided the gradient in 1:35. It is based on the discharge and based on the gradient. These gradients are important to maintain the self-cleansing velocity of 0.75 meter per second. Then these are the common sizes for the house drains. Soil pipe is 100 mm, then sullage pipe 75, horizontal sullage pipe, okay, running within the building, okay, that is 32 to 50 mm, and then vent pipe is 50 mm. These are the nominal sizes adopted for the house drains. And then sewerage plants. Can you just differentiate between what is sewerage, what is sewer? Sewer I have already explained. What is sewerage? Do you have any idea about what is sewerage?
The plan for which for the disposal.
Plan for which the disposal. Okay, it includes sewers plus the process by which you are collecting the wastewater from the house to the treatment system. The entire things are called as sewerage. Okay, sewerage system. Sewerage system is not only the sewers, the way how you are taking the wastewater, okay, to the treatment system is called as sewerage system. The entire things are called as sewerage system. Okay, the sewerage system how it should include like a site plan of the building, shows the position of gully, trap, public sewer, and then L section, that is a longitudinal section of the sewer, shows the distances. Anyway, I will just show some of the, yeah, this is the L section, longitudinal section, okay, of the sewer. You can see here, this is the with maybe the ground level, and then this is the cross section of the sewer. In the cross section of the sewer, you have to remember two things. One is the everyone knows about what is the top portion and bottom of the sewer. Okay, this is the top and then this is the bottom. But in addition to that, you have like two different terms. One is called as crown, another one is called as invert. The bottom level, okay, just inner portion of the that is the bottom is called as the invert. Similarly, the top inner portion of the sewer is called as the crown. Okay, these two terms, okay, crown and invert. Okay, therefore, sometimes they used to call it as invert level, then crown level. Okay, instead of mentioning top and bottom, they will mention the invert and crown level. Okay, then yeah, you can see that um, the drawing should shows the distances and then ground level, then invert level, depth of cutting, size of the manhole, gradient of pipes, public sewer, etc. All like detailed drawings, okay, detailed plans of different floors of buildings, shows the position of floor traps, sanitary fittings, etc. Everything, okay. This is called sewerage plans of building. Here you can see that, okay, where this is GT gully trap, okay, then provisions like with a slope 1 in 60, okay, 150 mm dia stoneware pipe, then vent pipe with a 100 mm dia, okay, everything is indicated in this drawing. And then this is the L section of house sewer. I can go through that. You just go through all those things. Yeah, I will close the house drainage system with this. Then I will move on to the wastewater treatment system. Students, is it clear with the house drainage system? House drainage system is very simple. Okay, you're like seeing all the components in our day's life. Okay, everyone is using all those things. Therefore, you just see and visualize that what are the different components of house drainage system. Okay. In addition to that, you have to remember certain important points like how to identify the leaks in the drainage system. Okay, what is waste pipe, what is sillage pipe, and all. You just to go read. Okay. Then next I will move to the wastewater treatment system. Do you have any idea with the wastewater treatment systems? Maybe you have studied in first year, no, in basic civil engineering.
No, we only studied water treatment last semester.
But you have not studied in basic civil engineering? No, because it includes water and wastewater treatment, no? Okay. Yeah. I will move to the wastewater treatment systems. Can you just tell me what are the objectives of wastewater treatment system? So now you have studied the constraints of the wastewater. Already we have discussed in the maybe in the beginning of your class. I think I started with the wastewater constraints only. Okay. Therefore, can you just tell me that what are the objectives of wastewater treatment system?
Removal of toxic waste.
Sharon, instead of that, you just relate with the constraints what we have studied in the class. Okay, we have talked about the solids. Okay, that is the main objective is the removal of solids, no? Because 99.9% is water, 0.1% is the solids. Okay, then you just imagine that the what are the 0.1% solids. Therefore, the main objective is to remove that one only. Now you just tell me one by one what are the main objectives of wastewater treatment? You elaborate with the solids.
Ma'am, can we say like to kill pathogens and toxicants?
That may be at the end. Okay, that is one of the main objective. Okay, mainly we have to, before maybe reusing the water, we have to remove the pathogens. Okay, that may be at the last. But before that, the major constituents is the solids.
We have to. So we have to balance the pH of the wastewater.
No, no. Generally, the municipal wastewater is like very near to the neutral pH only, slightly alkaline. That's all. No, I'm giving the clue to everyone. It is main objective is to remove the solids. What are the different types of solids we have studied?
Ma'am, organic and inorganic.
Okay, that is organic and inorganic. Fine. Then other.
Dissolve volatile solids. Suspended.
We have studied about biodegradable organics, and then refractory organics we have studied. Suspended solids we have studied. Okay, therefore the main objective is the removal of by seeing the wastewater. No, you don't worry about the wastewater generation in individual houses. Okay, in individual houses definitely you will not send any big objects. Okay, like this large sticks into your drains. But in open drains, you can see like a lot of debris, and then you can see maybe the dead animals. Maybe you can see logs. Okay, in the drains. Okay, therefore the main objective is of the wastewater treatment is to remove the suspended and floatable materials. Sometimes you can see oil and grease. Therefore, the main objective, the first objective of the wastewater treatment is to remove the suspended solids and floatable materials. Is it clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I will just. Okay. Wastewater. Water 0.1% solids. These solids we have classified as maybe suspended solids and dissolved solids. This may be in the form of organic and inorganic. Similarly, this may be in the form of organic and inorganic. Wastewater contains lot of suspended impurities, suspended solids, and then how like in the dissolved form, most of the things are biodegradable organics, biodegradable organics, and then how like these organics may be like carbon-based organics, carbonaceous matter, nitrogenous, sulfurous. Okay, therefore the main then in addition to that, like it contains the pathogens. For the main objective of the wastewater treatment is removal of suspended solids. Removal of suspended solids and floatable materials. I have made some mistakes. Then the second one is the removal of biodegradable organics. Removal of biodegradable organics. The monitoring parameter is BOD. By monitoring BOD, we can say that okay, the BOD is the biodegradable organics are removed from the system. Then here especially biodegradable organics is dealing with carbonaceous matter, CBOD. Because we are monitoring the only BOD for 5 days, therefore that says only the carbonaceous matters are removed from the system or not. Then in addition to that, we have like nitrogen and phosphorus, that also we have studied nutrients, the removal of nutrients. That is all are in the soluble form of organics, removal of nutrients. Then removal of pathogens. In addition to that, if it is now industrial wastewater, it contains a lot of refractory organics. Removal of refractory organics. Is it clear? And some toxic components. Okay, you should not say the beginning itself with the removal of toxic components. Wastewater have like only industrial wastewater used to have some toxic components. The municipal wastewater have more of suspended and biodegradable organics. Therefore, you have to give the importance to the removal of suspended solids and floatable materials like oil and grease, and then biodegradable organics, especially the carbonaceous matter, carbohydrates, and then removal of nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, removal of pathogens, and then a removal of refractory organics. What is refractory organics? Students, what is dye component? It's a organic, but difficult to degrade by microorganisms. That is called as refractory organics. It is not having any biodegradable portion. Okay, that's why it is called as refractory organics. Now, in order to remove these constituents from the wastewater, then we have to like adopt certain treatment units. Okay, it is generally classified as like preliminary treatment, primary treatment, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. Okay, classification. Classification of treatment systems. It's called as preliminary, and then primary treatment system, then secondary, then last one is the tertiary treatment system. Treatment, or we can say advanced wastewater treatment systems. Advanced wastewater treatment systems. This is with like preliminary is mainly to remove suspended solids. Then and like oil and grease, floatable materials. Then the preliminary and primary both includes. Okay, preliminary and primary system is mainly to remove the suspended solids, then oil and grease, as well as the grit particles. Grit particles, like it's like a sandy type material. Then maybe sometimes with the glass materials, everything to be removed in the preliminary and primary treatment system. Second one is the secondary treatment system. This is like mainly to remove the biodegradable organics, especially the carbonaceous organic matter. Then tertiary treatment system or advanced wastewater treatment system is mainly to remove nutrients and pathogens. Is it clear, students? Okay, these are the different types of treatment systems for the wastewater. Okay, depends upon the purpose. Okay, then mainly it is classified like preliminary, primary, secondary, and tertiary treatment systems. Then mainly the first objective of the wastewater, like the removal of suspended and floatable materials, are removed in the preliminary and primary treatment, and then in secondary is biodegradable organics, especially the carbonaceous organic matter, is removed from the wastewater. In the tertiary, mainly we have, for example, if you want to reuse the wastewater for gardening or flushing in the toilets purpose, okay, then we have to go with some advanced wastewater treatment systems to remove the nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. Also, we have to remove the pathogens. Then only it can be reused for irrigation or for the flushing operations. Therefore, it depends on the requirement. Either you have to adopt like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3. For example, if the municipality wants to treat the wastewater for irrigation purpose or for reuse purpose, then they have to adopt all like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then sometimes what they will do is they will discharge into nearby water bodies. Therefore, in that case, they will not go with the advanced wastewater treatment systems. They will just go only with the preliminary, primary, and secondary treatment systems. They will concentrate mainly on the removal of biodegradable organics. Therefore, it depends on the purpose. Okay, whether they want to discharge it into nearby water bodies or in the like for flushing or toilet operations, then or for the irrigation, then they will adopt the tertiary advanced wastewater treatment systems. As of now, all the corporations or the municipalities, okay, they used to discharge their treated effluents into nearby water bodies. They are not spending that much so much amount of money for tertiary or advanced wastewater treatment systems. They used to have like preliminary unit, primary unit, and secondary unit. After that, the treated effluent is discharged into nearby water bodies, either in the river or in the small streams. Okay, by there is a discharge effluent discharge standards. Okay, we have to stick on to that. Okay, for example, somebody wants to discharge a treated effluent into nearby water bodies. The BOD should be less than 20 milligram per liter. Then the COD value should be less than 30. Like that, the suspended solids. There is a standards. Okay, then you have to stick on to that. Without that, you should not discharge into nearby water bodies. Similarly, if you want to reuse it for irrigation, then you have to maintain certain values for suspended solids, and then you have to maintain the value for the BOD, etc. Therefore, accordingly, you have to select the suitable advanced treatment systems for treating the nutrients and pathogens. Okay, these are the different classification of treatment systems. As a whole, okay, that is classified as like physical system. Okay, the treatment systems as a whole may be generalized as like physical unit operations. Okay, unit operations. Then chemical unit processes. I'm using two different terms. One is unit operations, another one is unit processes. Then third one is biological unit processes. Okay, now can you just tell me what is the difference between unit operation and unit processes? Students?
Activities like filtering, all manual activities will come on top. This processes like treatment process, whatever additional chemicals is given.
by adding chemicals. Okay, any other answer other than this? The treatment methods in which the application of physical force is predominant. Okay. For example, you have studied sedimentation basin. Are you doing any operations in sedimentation basin? You just maybe you have studied in water treatment, no? You are just detaining the water in the tank for certain duration, maybe 2 to 4 hours or 4 to 6 hours duration. During that time, then the particles having a specific gravity greater than 1 will settle at the bottom of your tank. Okay, it's like the removal is mainly by gravitational force. That is responsible for the settling of the particles. Okay, it is by physical forces are responsible for the removal of the contaminant. That is called as physical unit operations. Then chemical unit processes. Maybe you have studied the sedimentation aided with coagulation. You are adding the alum. There is a chemical reactions. I am talking about now water treatment, but in wastewater treatment also we are doing some chemical coagulation. We are adding certain chemicals to remove the pollutants from the wastewater. Therefore, something is happening. No, some reactions are taking place that leads to the removal of contaminants. That is called as chemical unit processes. Is it clear, students? For example, some precipitation reactions, removal of lead from the wastewater. Okay, then you have to add some sulfide salt to remove the lead in the form of lead sulfide. Some reactions are taking place between the pollutant with the chemicals. That leads to the removal of pollutant in the form of lead sulfide from the wastewater. That is called as chemical unit processes. Then biological is like with the help of microorganisms. If the contaminants are removed from the system, that is called as biological unit processes. Is it clear? Operations means you are not adding anything, you are just only the physical forces are responsible for the removal of the contaminant or constituents from the wastewater. Whereas in case of chemical and biological processes, other than physical operations, that you have to add certain chemicals or you have to depend on microorganisms for the removal of the constraints. That is called as the processes. Therefore, in preliminary, primary, secondary and treatment systems, okay, so in the preliminary and primary, you can expect physical and chemical unit operations, the physical unit operations as well as chemical unit processes. In the secondary is the removal of biodegradable. The name itself implies that most of the biodegradable organics are removed by microorganisms. Therefore, you have to provide biological unit processes for the secondary treatment. Similarly, advanced wastewater treatment system is here also it is mainly related with the removal of nutrients or the pathogens. Okay, therefore either you can go with the biological systems or the physical chemical systems for the removal of nutrients. Okay, anyway, that we will discuss in the next class. We will see one by one and as well as the design also. I will stop with this.